Hello everybody and welcome back. Good to talk to all of you again today, and today we are going to be talking about the CV rework, and it has finally been, at least the initial bits of information have been revealed now through some gameplay footage and of course a Q&A that's been done. Now do keep in mind that this is of course work in progress, so everything that I talk about here, well, can of course change by the time this thing makes it out to the live servers. First things first, here's the first major obvious change about CV gameplay. It is the fact that it has moved away from a top-down RTS. This is definitely now more of an action game. And here we've gotten the first sort of demonstration of the new Torpedo bombers. And, well, it seems like you have a squadron of 12, and every time you go in for an attack run, you have 3 planes that go into the attack mode here. And it seems like as you continue to fly in this attack mode, the spread of the torpedoes narrows. And during this time, it seems that you can maneuver quite freely until you've gotten yourself into the right position, and then you can drop. This definitely allows the player to maneuver around, get into the proper position before dropping. So far, torpedo bombers, to me, looks good. There's, of course, one little thing I'm a little concerned about. They're obviously heading in the direction they want a more damage over time rather than Alpha Strike, which is actually a suggestion that I have made, and I believe someone else has made before as well, to the developers with regards to CV play, that, a transition to more damage over time. However, my one concern would actually be the fact that you have 4 attack runs, and 4 attack runs with torpedo bombers, it just seems like you can potentially get a lot of damage over time stacks. Flood a ship once, flood them again, and you can flood another ship twice, right? And flooding it in terms of damage does a lot of damage, so that is something I am a little bit concerned about. Hopefully, as we get to actually test it, we'll see more, and hopefully make some suggestions about this. Because think about it hypothetically, if I was attacking this Yamato here, and I drop, and I get 3 torpedo hits, and it floods, the Yamato has to repair unless it wants to burn off a lot of HP very quickly through the flooding. Well, nothing's going to really stop me from waiting him out and then just dropping him again with torpedoes and getting another flood. And flooding kills battleships very, very quickly. So that is something that I'm definitely a little bit concerned about. But other than that, the whole sort of getting into the attack pattern, having the spread become more narrow, making it less about raw alpha, those are all really good changes. And of course, just as a whole, it seems like planes are going to be a lot more friendly in terms of controls. It's not going to be the current system, which is very demanding in terms of micromanagement, and it really has limited the CV plane population. With this, I can definitely see CV populations going back up again, just because the controls and the interface and all that, it's just going to feel more familiar if you've played other surface ships, and that is definitely one of the goals that the developers have stated. So that is a positive. Hopefully, when people feel like their skills are a little bit more transferable between their classes and carriers, we'll see more of that CV plane population, and that'll of course make sure that other things, like for example going AA spec, will actually serve a purpose and not just be something that you occasionally hope that you run into carriers. Dive bomber gameplay has similar elements to the torpedo bombers. You set a point, your planes execute the pop-up and dive, and the reticle gets smaller and smaller until you basically decide to drop your bombs. So again, the different classes seem kind of similar in terms of the way they control, so in terms of your skills, that will be transferable as well between the different plane types. Bombers, though, I don't know, the way I see it, they don't look as effective as the torpedo bombers, but again, this is the concept stage, and right now they're focused on the concept, so of course we will see better refinements as time goes on. So far, torpedo bombers, I think, are still going to be the main sort of attacking aircraft, with dive bombers providing certain advantages in certain conditions. Torpedo bombers, I think, are going to be struggling more with destroyers, and dive bombers might be a little bit better, hard to say, but torpedo bombers, because you're only going 3 at a time, now you're not going to be able to cross drop, so hitting a DD is going to be more challenging. However, they did mention that potentially we're looking at having multiple CVs again, and even CV divisions, in which case you can still sandwich destroyers, and with the current system it's going to be more difficult for a destroyer to dodge, just because dropping actually looks like it's going to be a little bit easier. So we will have to wait, of course, and see what the final decision will be. Another thing that is of note is that there is actually no fighters. If you look at the sort of consumables rows, you will see that by pressing T, you can summon a fighter squadron to your area. I guess the way you want to sort of think about it is it kind of functions like a vision ward almost in League of Legends. You have a consumable, you drop it somewhere, and it'll cover that area and intercept stuff in that area. I can see why they did it this way, because, you know, it prevents sort of one player by being able to play fighter and then just grief the other player. But maybe it's going to be like a new skill to decide like how you're going to place it, maybe. Anyways, another attack aircraft new type is rockets. Rockets seem to be low damage, but seems to have a lot of chances of setting fire, so another sort of damage over time aircraft. Again, proper use of these, I think, can be very, very effective. Now, as we've gone away from the RTS view of the carriers, another change has been the way that anti-aircraft works. So the way they've explained anti-aircraft so far is that if you get really, really close, like right here, and you see these like small machine guns opening up, then that is sort of DPS, and it'll basically reduce the HP of your aircraft by that much per second. However, long range and medium range AA appear on the screen as black flak clouds, and as a player you're able to dodge those flak clouds, and by dodging them you will mitigate your damage, I guess, taken from those. However, if you run into them, they can be quite deadly, and I do believe in one example the guy flew his squadron into a flak burst and essentially lost like 4 planes in like one go. Actually, it's this particular gameplay example. Watch this. Plane flies in, takes damage, flies into another black cloud, and planes are gone, right? So what they're thinking is that they're going to make it so that the player who's on the surface ship will choose which sector, left or right, gets the priority in terms of more firepower. Which, the way I'm going to understand it, is you're going to see more of those flak bursts in that vicinity, you're going to have more DPS maybe on your smaller guns, all of which is going to make the person who's playing the aircraft have to deal with more dodging of those flak bursts and things like that. All in all, the concept of this I think is fine, because I've always said, you know, we needed better play, counterplay, you know, that kind of thing. Anyways, my final thoughts is I think it's going in the right direction. I mean, it's taken them some time, but they definitely seem committed to getting it right, which is a very, very good thing. And they're also this time very open to feedback from everything I have seen so far. So, you know, go on the forums if you have thoughts, opinions, you know, post it there. You can also, of course, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I do know they actually do read the comments in videos like this. Anyways, folks, it was good talking to all of you again today. I mean, you know, I just finished moving to a new place, so things are going to get better. Content's going to be more regular. Streams are going to be starting back up again. But I did get called into work tomorrow, so got to take off. I've got to get some sleep tonight. So good night, folks, and I will talk to all of you again tomorrow.